I gave my daughter an expensive painting for Christmas, and she scornfully called it junk and tossed it aside as worthless. A week later, I sold it at auction for $150,000, turning junk into fortune. When she found out, she was seething with anger and jealousy. But that was just the start. Before we go on, please subscribe to the channel and comment what time it is where you are right now. The wrapping paper fell to the floor. Red and gold. Fancy material. I'd spent 25 minutes perfecting the corners. Emily stared at the painting, her nose wrinkling like she'd opened a carton of milk 4 weeks expired. Dad, what is this? My living room had never felt chillier. Not even that winter the heat failed, and I wore 3 sweaters for a week. It's a painting. I kept my tone steady. French from the 1890s. I thought it so gloomy. She turned it sideways, and ancient-looking. Dad, you know we're into minimalist now. This looks like something from a yard sale. Bradley glanced up from his phone at last. Babe, be nice. It's the thought that counts. The thought of what? Our living room resembling a nursing home. The bagel sat on the table, cooling, much like my fatherly warmth. At least the bagels could be reheated. I'd been up since 5. Fresh baked pastries, cinnamon rolls from a recipe I'd mastered over 45 years. Premium coffee that cost more per pound than Bradley's knockoff Rolex cost per ounce. They'd come downstairs at 11. Late, grumbling about fatigue. Morning. Ike, that stretched and yawned. Smells good. Nobody touched the food. Emily opened the other gifts first. Cashmere scarf, designer handbag, gift cards to places I couldn't pronounce. She thanked me, polite but distant, like I was a server bringing the bill. Then the painting. I bought this piece in 1995. I measured my words, from a private collection. That's nice. Dad. She set it down, leaned it against the couch. But we can't use it. Maybe you could donate it to Salvation Army. Get a tax deduction. Salvation Army, yeah, you know. Let someone else enjoy it. Someone with that kind of taste. I paid $15,000 for this junk in 1995. That's roughly $50,000 in today's money. But who's counting besides me right now? Very carefully. Bradley set down his phone, smiled that smile that doesn't reach anywhere important. Ike, you got to understand. Our aesthetic is very different. We're into clean lines, statement pieces. This is kind of messy. Messy, I nodded. I see. No offense, man. It's just generational. You know, baby boomers love this old school stuff. Brandon yelled something upstairs. Video game win or defeat. Hard to tell. Cecilia responded with equal volume. My grandchildren present in the house, absent from this room. Honestly, Dad, maybe keep it in your studio. Emily checked her phone. It's more your vibe anyway. I stood, picked up the painting. The frame felt heavier than I remembered. Yes, I think I will. Great. Problem solved. She brightened now. Can we eat? I'm starving. Bradley frowned. Hey, Ike, you okay? You're being weird. I'm fine. Enjoy your breakfast. It's probably cold now. Emily wrinkled her nose again. We should just order something. I walked to my studio down the hall. Past photographs neither of them had looked at in 4 years. Family photos, history, mine. The studio door clicked shut. I set the painting on my desk. Morning light hit it perfectly. The lavender fields glowed purple and gold. Provence in summer, frozen in oil and time. Armand Girard had painted this. 1892. His brushstrokes distinctive, confident. Each dab of color intentional. The art world knew his work, respected it, treasured it. My daughter thought it was yard sale junk. I unwrapped it completely. studied it. 28 years I'd looked at this painting every morning, hanging in my bedroom until last week when I'd taken it down. Wrapped it. Written for Emily on the card. My hands didn't shake. They should have. Instead, they pulled my phone from my pocket, scrolled through contacts, stopped. Florence McAllister. Christie's. My thumb hovered. 2 seconds. 3. I tapped. 2 rings. Florence. It's Isaac Jefferson. Yes. Merry Christmas to you too. Listen, I have something for your January auction. Something special. The lavender fields seem to shimmer. Trick of the light, probably. How does next week sound? The painting sat in my passenger seat, buckled in, secured with more care than Emily had shown it. January 2nd. Boston glittered cold and bright. I parked on Newbury Street, lifted the package. A gallery owner nodded as I passed. Marcus. We'd appraised a collection together in 2018. Christie's entrance. Brass handles. I knew which door. Coming home felt exactly like this. Florence met me in the lobby. Same sharp blazer. Same reading glasses on a chain. 25 years. And she still looked like she could authenticate a Rembrandt in her sleep. Isaac Jefferson. She grinned. Is that what I think it is? Depends what you're thinking. She unwrapped it on the examination table. Her hands stopped. I'm thinking Girard, 1890s Provençal landscape. I'm thinking you've been holding out on us. It was a gift. The recipient didn't appreciate it. Then the recipient is a fool. The examination took 40 minutes. She used magnification, UV light, checked the signature, the brushwork, the canvas weave, all the things Emily hadn't bothered to ask about. Provenance private auction, 1995 estate of the Duchamp family. I have all documentation, condition museum quality, controlled environment for 28 years. She made notes, consulted her tablet, market comparisons, recent sales. Current market for Girard is strong. I'm thinking 7 figures. 7 figures. Emily's yard sale junk was worth 7 figures. How soon can you auction it? Conservative estimate. She looked up. 150 to 200,000. I remembered that 1995 auction. New York. November. Private estate sale. The Duchamp family liquidating assets. Most people saw a decent landscape. Nice colors. Unsigned or poorly signed. I saw the brushwork, the color palette, the way purple met gold in exactly one way. Girard's way. I'd bid 15,000. Won it. Brought it home. Hung it where I could see it every morning. You've got good taste. Florence smiled, and Patience had. Past tense. What changed? I tried to pass it along. Didn't work out. She didn't push. Professionals don't. She prepared the consignment papers. 3 pages. Standard contract. My hand moved to sign. Stopped. Should I tell Emily first? The thought lasted half a second. My pen moved. Second thoughts. Florence watched me. No. Too quick. Too firm. None. Do you want the sale to be confidential? We can keep it out of the public catalog. No need. Wrong answer. I should have said yes, but I assumed Emily would never see an auction catalog. She didn't read them. Didn't care about them. Assumptions make interesting mistakes. January 9th. Florence filed the papers. Our winter collection auction. This will be a highlight. Meanwhile, across town, Emily stirred her latte. Newbury Street Cafe, expensive, trendy. Windows overlooking galleries I'd worked with for decades. Your dad's still upset about Christmas. Zoe Wallace sipped her cappuccino. Designer bag on the chair. $300 sunglasses inside. He's being ridiculous. Emily shrugged. It was just some old painting. What kind of painting? I don't know. Brown, dark, very antique looking. Not our style at all. Bradley's voice crackled through speakerphone. He's been weird all week. Won't return my calls. He's getting old. Emily tapped her temple. Maybe a little, legal for what Zoe frowned. Just making sure Ike's protected. Bradley paused for effect. He was good at those. In case his judgment is slipping. You think it's that serious. He lives alone in that big house making financial decisions. We should be involved. January 9th arrived. Clear sky. Cold. I wore my gray suit. Bow tie. Christie's auction room filled with collectors. Phone bidders on standby. The smell of money and art mixed into something sharp. I sat in the back row. Lot 47 came up. The auctioneer's voice carried, professional, practiced. Armand Girard, Pays de Provence, circa 1892. Oil on canvas. Opening bid, 70,000. Paddles rose. 3, 5. Phone lines lit up. 75, 80. We have 90,000. 100. The bidding war lasted 100 seconds. 100 seconds to undo 28 years of sentimental attachment. Efficient, really. I appreciated the economy of it. 125. 130,000. The room held its breath. Fair warning. The hammer fell. Sharp crack. Final sold 175,000. Applause rippled. People shook my hand. Congratulations. Professional courtesies. I accepted them all. My passenger seat stayed empty on the drive home. The phone rang. Emily. I let it go to voicemail. Rang again. Bradley. Voicemail. Third call. Emily. I pulled over. Quiet street. Stared at the screen. My thumb moved toward the answer button. Maybe I should explain. Maybe even share. Text message. Zoe. Wait. Why would a screenshot? Christie's auction results newsletter. The painting lot 47 sold for 175,000. Below it. Emily. Your dad's painting sold for how much? Another buzz. Different thread. Emily meant to text Bradley. Sent it to the group chat instead. That was my painting. He stole my Christmas gift. I stared. 5 calls in 10 seconds. Screen lit up like a Christmas tree. Ironic. I turned it off. Started the engine. The war had begun. Limoges circa 1875. Hairline crack on the handle. My pen moved across the journal page. Morning light hit the coffee cup just right. Number 85 in my collection. Delicate roses on porcelain. Beautiful. My phone rang. Unknown number. I ignored it. Continued writing. Provenance uncertain. Acquired estate sale. Philadelphia. Downstairs. A door slammed. Footsteps fast. Angry. Coming up the stairs. I set down my pen. The studio door flew open. Emily's face red. Phone clutched in her hand like a weapon. 175,000. I didn't look up from my journal. Good morning to you too. Don't you good morning me. You sold my painting. Your painting. I kept my pen carefully. Interesting interpretation. Bradley appeared behind her, breathing hard from the stairs. Ike, we need to talk seriously about what you did. I finally looked up, met his eyes. What I did was sell my property. Coffee. Emily's hands shook. The phone screen showed the screenshot. Christie's auction results. Lot 47. 175,000 in bold numbers. That was my Christmas gift. You can't just take back a gift. You refused it. Called it yard sale junk if memory serves. I didn't refuse it. I just said it wasn't my style. I stood, walked to my desk, pulled up my computer, found the Christie's transaction receipt, turned the screen toward her. You suggested I donate it to Salvation Army. Those were your exact words. Bradley stepped closer, looked at the screen. You're twisting things. You know what she meant. I know precisely what she meant. My voice stayed level. 45 years of dealing with difficult clients taught me that. I've been an art appraiser for 45 years. I recognize contempt when I see it. 4 years of free housing, utilities, and groceries. If I'm mentally declining. I started in 2021. Should have gotten that checked. Emily's expression shifted. Fake concern replacing rage. Look, Let's be reasonable. You made a profit, a big one. We think Emily deserves compensation. Compensation for what exactly? For my gift. Half of that money is mine. It stopped being yours the moment you rejected it. Legally, ethically, and morally. Bradley crossed his arms. We could get a lawyer. Please do. I smiled. I'll enjoy that conversation. Emily's eyes narrowed. Different tactic. Why are you being so difficult? Are you okay, Dad? Mentally, the room temperature dropped 10 degrees. Excuse me. She's just saying. Bradley put his hand on her shoulder. Making big financial decisions alone at your age. At my age, which is 70, not 95. We're worried about you. Selling valuable things impulsively. My coffee sat on the desk, cold now. I'd made French press Ethiopian beans. Wasted on this morning. I poured it down the sink. Some conversations deserve instant coffee. This one deserved nothing. The only impulsive decision I made was thinking you'd appreciate beauty over price tags. Bradley's voice hardened. You're being financially irresponsible, senile, honestly. Something snapped. Senile. I stood. They both stepped back. I have been supporting you for 4 years, rent-free, and you dare. We didn't ask for that painting specifically. Get out. My hand pointed to the door, shaking not from age but from rage. There are things in this house 12 times more valuable than that painting, and you'll never... I stopped. The words hung in the air. Emily's eyes changed, sharpened. 12 times more valuable. I'd made a mistake, a critical one. Out now. Both of you. They left finally. Emily threw one last look around the studio. Cataloging. Calculating. The door closed. I sat. Stared at my coffee cup collection. 130 pieces. 19th century porcelain. Some worth thousands. Most worth sentiment. My phone sat on the desk. I picked it up. Scrolled to Daniel's contact. Video call. He answered on the third ring. San Francisco apartment behind him. Early morning his time. Dad. What happened? Your sister discovered I sold the Gerard, and she's upset after calling it junk. Upset doesn't cover it. I rubbed my eyes. I may have made a strategic error. What kind of error? The kind that involves my temper and their greed. I'll handle it. His face filled with concern. Want me to fly home? No. Stay with your family. I paused. But Daniel, I need you to know something about your inheritance. We talked for 25 minutes. Plans, possibilities, protection. When the call ended, I pulled out a business card from my desk drawer. Samuel Parker, attorney at law. We'd known each other 35 years. He answered on the second ring. Isaac Jefferson. Been a while. I need advice. Estate planning. Everything okay health-wise? My health is fine. My daughter's character less so. He chuckled. Ah, one of those calls. What happened? She's living in my house. Has been for 4 years. Rent-free. Generous of you. It was. I'm reconsidering my generosity. I'm listening. I need to update my will, and I need to know my legal options regarding house guests who've overstayed their welcome. Are we talking eviction? We're talking about protecting my assets from people who see me as an ATM with a pulse. Silence. Then when can you come to my office? Tomorrow. Too soon. 10 a.m. Bring documentation. I ended the call. Sat in the quiet. Then I walked downstairs through the living room, past the antique portrait of great-grandmother Isabella. Gold frame, dark oils, stern face, my desk drawer in the hallway. Not quite closed. I opened it. Everything looked normal, but I knew my organization. Someone had been here. The filing cabinet locked, but fresh scratches around the keyhole. New from today. The portrait slightly crooked. I straightened it. Stared at Isabella's painted face. They're looking for treasure. Perfect. Upstairs, through the ceiling, voices muffled, that if that painting was worth over 150 grand, what else is he hiding? I pulled out my phone, opened notes, typed, Phase 1 complete. They've taken the bait. Phase 2. Let them hunt. Documents covered Samuel's desk. Property deeds, bank statements, 4 years of utility bills, grocery receipts in neat chronological order. Samuel whistled low. You've been documenting everything. Force of habit. I shifted in the leather chair. 45 years of provenance verification. He ran his finger down a spreadsheet. 2,500 monthly for their rent equivalent. 450 utilities. 650 groceries. Multiply by 48 months. He looked up. You're owed 100,000, give or take. I don't want the money. Then what do you want? I want them to understand what they threw away, and I want my house back. Samuel leaned back. His office smelled like old books and coffee. Wood paneling, framed diplomas. Comfortable. You kept receipts for 4 years. I keep receipts for 35 years. Occupational hazard. This is over 90,000. That's the monetary value. The personal cost is considerably higher. He tapped his pen against the desk. You want to formalize these as loans. I want to establish that I've been generous. When I stop being generous, I want the law on my side. You're building a case. I'm documenting reality. There's a difference. Samuel pulled out a legal pad, started writing. If they're going through your things, you should know about it. Security cameras. It's your house. Completely legal. The idea felt wrong, intrusive. That feels invasive. They're invading your privacy. You're protecting your property. I sat with that small one, just in my studio. Start there. See what they do. Back home, they'd already started. I discovered this later. Security footage doesn't lie. Emily photographed the Remington sculpture on the mantle. Bronze cowboy worth maybe 9,000. She took 7 photos, different angles, uploaded them immediately. Bradley measured the Chinese vase in the hallway. Ming Dynasty reproduction. Cost me $350 at a gallery closing sale. He spent 25 minutes examining the maker's mark with a magnifying glass, but the portrait obsessed them. Great-grandmother Isabella, stern Victorian woman, dark background, ornate gold frame, hanging in the living room for 5 years. I'd installed the camera on Tuesday. By Thursday, I had 7 hours of footage of Bradley trying and failing to pick my desk lock with a paperclip. He watched a YouTube tutorial 3 times. I could have just given him the key. Would have saved us both time. But where's the fun in that? January 20th, video call with Daniel. Evening his time. His face filled my laptop screen. Dad, this sounds serious. It's complicated. Emily she's not who I raised. Money changes people. Lack of money in her case. She and Bradley have debt I never knew about. How much debt? Enough to make them desperate. Enough to make my house look like an inheritance worth fighting for. What can I do? I took a breath. I need to ask you something about the house. His expression shifted. Concerned. What about it? I want to transfer 50% ownership to you. Why, Dad? Are you sick? I'm perfectly healthy. This is strategic. Strategic how? If Emily tries to claim rights to this house after when I'm gone, you'll have equal say. When you're gone is hopefully 35 years from now. Or next week if she tries to have me declared incompetent. Silence stretched across the country. She wouldn't. She called me senile 4 days ago in my own studio. More silence then. What do you need me to sign January 23rd? Samuel's office. Daniel via electronic signature from San Francisco. Documents signed, notarized, filed. Daniel now owned half my house. This made him technically Emily's landlord. The irony was delicious. I considered telling her, then decided the surprise would taste better. Later, January 27th, gallery opening, local artist, watercolors of the Charles River. I stayed 2.5 hours, talked to collectors, drank mediocre wine. gave Emily and Bradley a window. Security footage from that night showed Bradley in my office alone. Systematic, opening drawers, checking files. He found the Sotheby's folder. I watched him pull out the letter. Old letterhead, 1998. Professional appraisal for a portrait I'd authenticated years ago. 18th century, unknown artist. Estimated value $900,000 to $1.5 million. The letter mentioned the portrait was sold in 2005. Proceeds used to purchase this house. Bradley didn't read that part. He saw only the valuation. His hands shook as he photographed the document. Ran from the room, calling for Emily. I watched their conversation in the living room. No audio, but their body language spoke volumes. Bradley showed her the photo. Her eyes went wide. She grabbed his phone, read it 4 times. Then they both turned, stared at the great-grandmother portrait. Their gold mine, completely fake. Cost me $250 in 2020. I'd left that Sotheby's folder accessible deliberately. Wanted them to find something. Keep them busy, waste their time. I hadn't expected them to find that specific letter. Mistake. Not fatal, but careless. Late January the 28th, after midnight. Studio. Just me and the security monitor. I watched old footage. Emily in my office laughing at something Bradley said. The angle caught her face perfectly. Joy, excitement. She looked like she did at age 9. Birthday party treasure hunt. The same house. She'd found a silver dollar I'd hidden. Squealed. Hugged me. Best birthday ever, Daddy. I paused the video. Her face frozen in laughter. What happened to you? The words came out whisper quiet. My phone sat next to the keyboard. I could call, explain, offer to help with her debts, financial counseling, a real path forward. The video resumed automatically. Emily opened my desk drawer, removed my late wife's jewelry box, costume jewelry, sentimental value only. She photographed it, put it back. My hand stayed on the desk. No, you made your choice. But doubt lingered. Was I becoming as cold as they were greedy January 30th? Evening dinner with Florence. Business. Museum donations. Tax strategies. I came home, hung my coat, walked into the living room. The portrait crooked again. I straightened it. Stepped back. Stern woman. 1890s dress. Dark background. Gold frame. Good reproduction. Local artist. 2020. Aged deliberately. The artist had laughed. Who would fake something like this? Someone with a sense of irony, I'd said. Now something new caught my eye. Sticky note on the frame's edge, partially visible from the side. I pulled it off. Emily's handwriting. Get appraised. 18th century up to 1.5 mil. Do not touch. I stared. Smiled slow-wide. They believed it was this portrait. I pulled out my phone, texted Samuel. They took the bait. Phase 2 ahead of schedule. Samuel. What bait? Me. The one I didn't know I'd set. Sometimes luck is better than planning. The fake Isabella stared back. Stern. Judging. Thank you, I whispered. You're about to become very expensive and completely worthless. My phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Jefferson. This is Gerald Chen from Heritage Auction House. We received an inquiry about your 18th century portrait. The caller said they were your daughter authorized to seek valuations on your behalf. We'd love to schedule an appointment. My smile faded. They weren't just planning. They were trying to sell my property. I'll call you back. I hung up, stared at the portrait. The game just changed. The tray appeared in my peripheral vision. Food. Actual food that someone else had made. I looked up from the Boston Globe. Early February morning. Emily stood there holding scrambled eggs, bacon, orange juice, and toast that wasn't burnt. Good morning, Dad. Her voice hit notes I hadn't heard since she was 13. What's the occasion? No occasion. Can't a daughter make her father breakfast? I took a careful bite of eggs, folded properly. Not scrambled flat. You remembered the technique. I remember a lot of things, Dad. We should talk more about the past, about preserving memories. Preserving memories. I took another bite. Interesting phrase. Emily made me breakfast 4 days in a row. 4 days. I hadn't experienced this level of daughterly care from her since she was in utero. The eggs were competent. The motives were transparent. I ate slowly, savoring both. Bradley discovered a passion for art history overnight. The same man who'd called my Gerard old people clutter now wanted to discuss brush techniques and period framing. Ike, I've been thinking. He appeared in the living room where I was reading. That portrait. Great-grandmother Isabella, right? Have you ever had it appraised for insurance purposes? I looked at him over my reading glasses. I know what it's worth. Sure. But officially, with proper documentation, it's documented extensively. That's good. That's really good. He nodded too many times. Wouldn't want anything to happen to it. No, we certainly wouldn't. He pronounced provenance wrong 5 times in one conversation. I didn't correct him. Comedy requires commitment. Friday night family dinner. I'd cooked roasted chicken, garlic potatoes, green beans. They actually showed up on time. Tell us about great-grandmother Isabella. Emily leaned forward. We never hear family stories. I paused. Set down my fork as if considering whether to share. Isabella Duchamp Jefferson, born in Paris, 1765. Minor nobility. Emily's eyes widened. French nobility. Very minor, but enough for a portrait commission. She sat for 4 months. Bradley stopped chewing. 4 months. Must have been expensive. Oil portraits took time. The artist was notable. His name is lost to history, but the technique. I touched my chest. Remarkable. And it's been in our family since then. Passed down through 8 generations. My grandfather nearly sold it during the Depression. My father wouldn't allow it. I paused for effect. Some things he said are more valuable than money. They exchanged glances. Quick. Greedy. Wise man, Bradley said. He understood worth. Later that week, Samuel's office. Documents spread across his desk. New will. Museum donation agreements. You're really doing this. Samuel looked up from the papers. I'm really doing this. They'll lose their minds. That's the idea. He signed as witness. I signed as donor. Notaries stamped everything. Legal, binding, irrevocable. The next morning, Museum of Fine Arts, Boston. Patricia Morales' office smelled like coffee and old paper. This is incredibly generous, Isaac. It's time. The piece should be seen, appreciated. The period is perfect for our exhibition. 1890s family portraiture. 1890s, yes, approximately. She examined the photographs I brought. The fake looked good in photos. That's all that mattered. We'll name the gallery hall after your family. The Jefferson Room. Perfect. They'll love that. I touched the frame during dinner that night. Reverently, like I was saying goodbye to something precious. Bradley's eyes followed my hand like a cat watching a laser pointer. Beautiful piece, he said. Irreplaceable, I replied. Technically true. You can't replace something that was never valuable in the first place. The reproduction cost $250. The frame cost $175. The look on his face, priceless. That night, their bedroom. I didn't need security cameras to know what they were saying. Their voices carried. He's obsessed with that portrait, Bradley said. 8 times he mentioned preserving it because it's worth a fortune. Emily's voice pitched high with excitement. And he's sentimental about it. Sentimental old men make decisions they regret. What do you mean? I mean, what if something happened to him? Not anything bad. Just naturally. Bradley, I'm saying we need a plan. That portrait comes to you. Only child. I'm not the only child. Daniel's in California. He doesn't care about this stuff. Silence. Then Emily. We need to be in the will properly. We keep being perfect, devoted, indispensable. I walked away from their door, back to my studio. Locked it. Moved to the back corner behind my drafting table. The large canvas leaned against the wall, covered with cloth. I'd walked past it for weeks, ignoring it deliberately. Now I pulled the cloth away. The real portrait emerged. Luminous skin tones. Genuine 18th century technique. Masterful composition. The actual Isabella Duchamp Jefferson, painted 1789. I turned it around. On the back, protected by archival plastic. Original certificate of authenticity. Sotheby's appraisal 1998. Museum transfer agreement signed 2020. Anonymous donor. A sticky note in my handwriting. To be revealed after my death. Let them enjoy the fake IJ 2020. I photographed it. Sent to Samuel. Insurance policy. Sat back. Looked at the $1 million masterpiece. Then at my phone showing the living room fake. They're hunting ghosts, I said to the empty studio. Beautiful, expensive ghosts. I recovered the real portrait. Returned it to hiding. Tomorrow, formal dinner. Time to show them what their niceness had earned. My phone buzzed. Text from Samuel. Documents ready. Museum donation official as of tomorrow. Are you sure about this? Me, absolutely. Samuel, they'll lose their minds. Me, that's the idea. Upstairs, through the ceiling, muffled voices continued. Emily, if we're extra nice, maybe he'll reconsider the will, that the portrait could be ours by summer. I walked to my bedroom, paused at the door. Summer, I whispered. Optimistic. 6 place settings, good china, crystal glasses. The dining room looked ready for celebration. It wasn't. Emily entered. Saw the setup. Stopped. Dad, this is beautiful. What's the occasion? Family meeting. I adjusted a fork. Important announcement. Her eyes lit up. Announcement about my estate. Time to make some things official. She practically vibrated. Already texting Bradley. I watched her face. Pure, uncomplicated greed disguised as joy. The doorbell rang. Are you expecting someone? Our witness. I opened the door. Samuel Parker stood there. Briefcase in hand. Emily's smile froze. Witness. Dinner proceeded cordially. Wine poured. Small talk about Brandon's soccer. Cecilia's art class. Bradley wore a suit he'd borrowed from my closet. Didn't fit quite right. After the main course, I stood. Glass raised. I want to thank you all for being here. Family is precious. Emily leaned forward. Dad, this is so nice. I've been considering my legacy. What I'll leave behind. Bradley dabbed his mouth with a napkin. You have years ahead, Ike. Perhaps, but at 71, thinks about these things. I paused. I've made a decision about great-grandmother Isabella's portrait. Emily's breathing stopped. I'm donating it to Museum of Fine Arts, Boston. The papers are signed. Transfer is next week. Silence. Emily's wine glass tilted. Samuel caught it before it spilled. You're what Bradley's face progressed through several colors during my announcement. Pale cream, tomato red, and finally the purple of an overripe eggplant. It was like watching a sunset, a very angry, financially devastated sunset. Dad, wait. Emily's voice cracked. That portrait has been in our family for generations. Exactly why it belongs in a museum. Proper preservation, climate control, security. But it's your property. Your decision to make, I've made it. Her smile stretched brittle. Shouldn't you have discussed this with family first? I'm telling you now as a courtesy. Bradley turned to Samuel. This is a major decision. It's his property. Samuel's voice was neutral, professional. Legally, he can donate what he wishes. Who asked you? I'm his attorney. It's my job to answer. I sat back down, sipped wine. The museum is thrilled. They're naming the gallery hall after our family. Emily congratulated me on my generosity. Her teeth were so gritted I worried about her dental work. So generous, Dad. The words came out strangled. I thanked her, poured her more wine. She needed it. The Jefferson Room. Great-grandmother Isabella will be the centerpiece. Thousands will see her. Brandon looked up from his potatoes. Will they pay you, Grandpa? Everyone froze. No, Brandon, it's a gift. Charitable donation. Oh, so we don't get money. Emily grabbed his arm too hard. Sweetie, this isn't about money. Then why does Mom keep saying, Brandon, not now? Bradley pulled out his phone, scrolled through something. These documents, when were they signed? Yesterday. Samuel cut his chicken calm, notarized and filed. Can they be reconsidered? No. Donation is irrevocable. Emily set down her fork. Irrevocable. It means permanent, dear. She looked at Samuel. Even if he changes his mind, even then the portrait belongs to the museum now. Bradley's jaw worked. This seems rushed, impulsive. I've been planning this for 6 years, hardly impulsive. The museum promised to name a gallery after us. The Jefferson Room. Our family name immortalized in Boston culture. Emily said how wonderful. She did not look wonderful. She looked like someone who'd just learned Santa wasn't real. The tooth fairy was broke, and her inheritance had been donated to charity. Cecilia tugged my sleeve. Will we get to visit it, Grandpa? Anytime you want, sweetheart. Free admission for family. Emily's voice came out strangled again. Well, congratulations, Dad. Very generous of you, thank you. The museum is lucky. They are. And so are we. Our family name preserved in perpetuity. Bradley pushed back his chair. Right. The name. That's the important thing, isn't it? Not the monetary value, the legacy. Samuel left at 9. Knowing nod. I walked him to the door. Nicely done, he whispered. Thank you for being here. Wouldn't miss it. He glanced back at the dining room. They're planning something. Let them plan. I retired early. Lay in bed listening to the house. 10 o'clock. Their bedroom door slammed. He gave it away. He gave away $1 million. Keep your voice down. I don't care. Do you understand what just happened? Yes, I was there. That was our retirement. Our house fund. Everything. It was never ours. It was supposed to be ours when he paces heavy. When he what? Dies. Crying now. This is your fault. You said being nice would work. Don't put this on me. You're the daughter. And you're the one who found that appraisal. Got our hopes up. Our hopes. You were the one making them eggs every morning. Something crashed. Glass maybe. Children's door opened. Small footsteps. Mom. Dad, go back to bed. Why are you fighting? We're not. Just go to sleep. Cecilia's voice tiny. Is it because of Grandpa's silence? Then Emily cold and clear. Yes. Yes, it's because of Grandpa. I closed my eyes. My revenge was working. So why did I feel like this midnight studio? Laptop open. The real portrait photo on screen. $1 million masterpiece. Hidden. Safe. There's never. My phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Jefferson. This is Attorney Morton Fisher. I represent your daughter, Emily Jefferson Thompson. We need to discuss your recent donation and your mental competency to make such decisions. I'd like to schedule a meeting. I hung up, stared at the phone. They'd hired a lawyer. The game just escalated. My phone rang. Morning light. Coffee halfway to my mouth. Samuel Parker. No greeting. You've been served. I set down the cup carefully. Served legal papers. Petition for guardianship and conservatorship. They're claiming you're mentally incompetent to manage your affairs. The word hung in the air. Incompetent when process server should arrive within the hour. I'm coming over. Through my window, I saw Emily's car in the driveway. Bradley loading something into the trunk. They were home watching, waiting to see my face when the papers arrived. Let them come, I said. The doorbell rang 45 minutes later. Process server. Young guy. Apologetic expression. Isaac Jefferson, yes. You've been served. He handed me the papers. You have 15 days to respond. Have a nice day. I stood in the doorway reading. Petition for guardianship and conservatorship. Advanced age affecting judgment. Impulsive financial decisions. Vulnerability to exploitation. Emily watched from her bedroom window. I looked up, met her eyes. Mouthed war. Samuel arrived 25 minutes later. Spread the papers across my kitchen table. They're claiming you're incompetent. Advanced age affecting judgment. I'm 70, not 95. They cite the museum donation as proof of impulsive decision-making. I planned that donation for 6 years. I know they don't. Or they're lying. He flipped pages. You need to pass a competency evaluation. Should be easy. You're sharp as ever. Easy. I stared at the papers. Samuel, they're trying to take my autonomy. They're trying. They'll fail, but it'll be public. Court records. People will know. Good. My voice came out hard. Let them see what my daughter has become. Doctor. Sharon Margolis's office smelled like lavender and textbooks. 4 days later. 3.5 hours of testing. What year is it, Mr. Jefferson? 2025. Current president. Do we have to discuss politics? Small smile. Just establishing baseline. Count backwards from 100 by eights. 192, 84, 76, 68, 60, 52, sufficient. Tell me about your recent financial decisions. I donated a painting to a museum. Family heirlooms seemed appropriate. Doctor. Margolis asked me to draw a clock. A clock. I'm a former art appraiser who spent 45 years examining old masters, and I'm drawing a clock to prove I'm not senile. I made it a dolly clock melting. She didn't laugh. Psychiatrists have no sense of humor. I still passed. Your daughter suggests this was impulsive. My daughter wants money. There's a difference. You sound angry. Wouldn't you be? Your own child trying to have you declared incompetent. She made notes. That's a very rational response, actually. Meanwhile, Bradley made calls. Hired someone. Budget detective named Frank Morris. $250 a day. Investigation target the portrait. Morris found a museum curator. Junior level. Marcus Chen. Student loans. Rent problems. $60,000 in debt. $2,500 in cash changed hands. Marcus examined the donated portrait after hours. Reported back. It's a reproduction. Modern materials. Maybe 6 years old. Worth $350 with the frame. Bradley, hearing this, didn't understand. Didn't realize Isaac donated a worthless fake on purpose. Instead, he swapped them. Gave them the fake. Kept the real one. New conspiracy. New hunt. Same desperation. March 1st. My studio door flew open. We know what you did. I looked up from my book. Good morning to you too. The portrait, the one you gave the museum. It's fake. Is it Emily's face was red? Beautiful like a ripe tomato. We had it checked. It's a reproduction. Interesting. Bradley stepped forward. Where's the real one? Where did you hide it? Bradley accused me of defrauding a museum. Me, a man who authenticated art for 4 decades. A man whose reputation is built on honesty. He pronounced provenance wrong while doing it. I almost gave him a dictionary. Almost. Hide what? The $1 million portrait. The Sotheby's appraisal. Ah, that old document. We know you swapped them. Gave the museum a fake. Kept the real one. I set down my book, stood. You think I defrauded a museum? We think you're playing games. Perhaps I am. Or perhaps you're so desperate for money you're seeing treasures that don't exist. Their lawyer called that afternoon. Morton Fisher. Aggressive voice, cheap tactics. Mr. Jefferson, we have evidence of erratic behavior. Donating valuable art impulsively. They're my heirlooms. I don't need permission. At your age, sir, judgment can be impaired. My judgment is excellent. Yours taking this case is questionable. We'll see what the judge says. I hung up. That night, old photo albums. My studio alone. Emily at 4. Gap-toothed smile. Paintbrush in hand. Emily at 9. Museum. Staring at a Monet. Emily at 17. Art class. Her first canvas. Where did that girl go? I picked up my phone. Typed. We need to talk. Really talk. Not about money. About us. Thumb hovered over send. Doctor. Margolis's question echoed. Do you think reconciliation is possible? My answer then no. Now I don't know. I deleted the message. The doubt lingered. Is this justice or cruelty? The line blurs at midnight. Morning brought clarity. And the Boston Globe small piece page 8. Local art expert faces competency challenge from family. My name public record. Everyone would know. The phone started ringing. Gallery owners, collectors, museum people I'd worked with for decades. Ike, what's happening? Need anything? This is outrageous. Support unexpected, overwhelming. Zoe called Emily. I heard about it later through Florence, who heard from Patricia, who heard from someone at the museum. Is it true you're suing your father? It's complicated, Zoe. I can't support this. Click. Within 4 days, their social circle evaporated. Invitations withdrawn, calls unreturned, avoidance in grocery stores. Boston is small. Word spreads fast. Judgment faster. March 1st evening doorbell news van Channel 7 reporter with microphone Mr. Jefferson, can we ask you about the guardianship petition? Camera light. Neighbor watching across the street. I could close the door instead. Yes, I have a statement. Your daughter believes you're incompetent. I underwent psychiatric evaluation. I passed perfectly because I'm not incompetent. I'm just done being used. Used. I supported her family for 4 years rent-free. They called my gifts junk, then sued when I donated art to a museum. That's not concern for my well-being. That's greed, strong words, true words. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have documents to prepare for court. My phone erupted. Texts, calls. Samuel, did you just talk to press? Daniel, Dad. I saw the news stream, you okay? Another call, judge's clerk. Competency hearing scheduled March 11th. I'll be there. 11 days to prove I'm not senile. 11 days to show the world what my daughter has become. I walked to my studio, locked the door, pulled out the folder. Evidence, financial support, 2021-2025. 4 years of receipts, bank transfers, utilities, groceries, medical bills. 100,000 started scanning. If they want war, they'll get truth first. March 11th, court day. I sat in my living room, charcoal suit, burgundy bow tie, briefcase beside me. Samuel should arrive in 25 minutes. My phone rang. Don't leave yet. What's wrong? Fisher withdrew the petition an hour ago. Emergency filing. I set down my coffee. Why? He's claiming new information suggests resolution outside court is preferable. Translation, they know they'll lose. So it's over the lawsuit. Yes, but Ike, they're not done. Through my window, Emily's car pulled into my driveway. Bradley in passenger seat. They're here. Don't let them in alone. I'm coming. No need. I think it's time we had that conversation. But they didn't knock on the front door. Walked around back toward the studio. They weren't coming to talk. They were coming to search. I followed silent phone recording video. A locksmith picked my studio lock. Emily and Bradley entered. I stood in the doorway. Watched them rifle through my files, looking for something. They spun around. Dad, you're supposed to be at court. Lawsuit was withdrawn. Didn't Morton tell you? Bradley's face went pale. We can explain. Can you explain breaking into my home? The locksmith backed toward the door. Ma'am, you said we're not breaking in. This is family property. My property that you're illegally entering. The locksmith left fast. Emily's hands shook. Stop playing games. Where's the real portrait? There is no real portrait. The Sotheby's appraisal was for a different painting from 1998. You're lying. Am I? Would you like to see the documents? All of them. Yes. Fine. Living room now. Let's end this. I spread documents across my coffee table. Methodical, systematic. Sotheby's appraisal, 1998 portrait, unknown artist, 18th century, estimated 900,000, 1.5 million. Bradley grabbed it. See, now read the next page. Sale record 2005, sold for 850,000 to private collector. Silence, heavy crushing. What? I sold that portrait 21 years ago. Used the money to buy this house. This house you've been living in rent-free. But the portrait in the museum is a $250 reproduction I commissioned in 2020. Nice piece, historical interest, perfect for museum exhibition. Emily sat down hard. You're saying there's no $1 million painting? There was. I sold it before you were even married. They tore through my filing cabinets like archaeologists hunting lost treasure. Found receipts from 1988. My dental records. Warranty information for a toaster I threw away in 2011. Everything except what they wanted. Proof of hidden millions. Because, and I cannot stress this enough, there were no hidden millions. I pulled out my spreadsheet. 4 years every expense. Let's discuss value. Rent for this house $2,900 monthly. Times 48 months, $139,200. We're family. Utilities $450 monthly. Groceries $650. Medical bills when your insurance lapsed $13,000. Credit card minimums I paid $9,400. We never asked. You never had to ask. I offered because I'm your father. Was your father dad? Total $100,000. And you know what you said when I gave you $175,000 painting for Christmas? Silence. Yard sale junk. Those were your exact words. Emily's voice broke. You set us up. You planted that Sotheby's document. I didn't plant anything. You searched my files without permission. You wanted us to think there was treasure. I wanted you to appreciate what you had. You chose to hunt for what you didn't. You're a cruel man. My voice rose first, real anger. I'm cruel. I gave you a home for 4 years. I gave you a painting worth $150,000. You called it junk. I fed your children, paid your bills, supported your family while you lived beyond your means. And what did I get? A lawsuit calling me incompetent. We were worried about you. You were worried about money. My money. Money you felt entitled to while I was still alive. I took a breath, regained control. You have 3 weeks. 3 weeks for what? To find new housing. I want my home back. You can't evict us. Actually, I can. This house is 50% owned by Daniel. Has been for 7 months. He and I agree. You need to leave. Samuel entered through the front door. Perfect timing. They're guests, no lease, no rent paid, no tenant status. 15 days' notice is generous. Emily collapsed, crying. What are we supposed to do? We have nothing. You have more than nothing. You have your health, your skills, your children. You just don't have my money. After destroying their delusions, after presenting documentation of their exploitation, after formally evicting them, I did something inexplicable. I offered them coffee, French press Ethiopian beans. They declined. I drank it alone. It was excellent. The coffee, I mean. The moment was terrible. 3 weeks later, moving day. I watched from my studio window. Budget rental truck small. Their life diminished. 2-bedroom apartment, South End area. Daniel co-signed for the children's sake. The fake portrait was already at the museum. Installed yesterday. The Jefferson Room. My name on the wall forever. Emily hadn't attended the opening. Now watching her pack, I felt nothing. That's worse than anger. Downstairs, the front door opened closed. Footsteps on stairs. Emily appeared in my doorway. Alone, red eyes, no makeup, young again, broken. I need to talk to you. Before I go, I need to say something. I waited. She took a breath. The doorbell rang. Babe, truck's full, we got to go. Emily looked at me. Whatever she was going to say died. Never mind, she whispered. Turned left. Front door closed. Truck engine started. Drove away. My phone buzzed. Daniel, she's gone. Me, yes. Daniel, how do you feel? I stared at the question for a long time. Typed like I won and lost simultaneously. Daniel, what's next? I looked around my studio, my home, my life empty of parasites, full of memories, some good, some poisoned. What is next? Apartment listings covered my kitchen table. 2-bedroom places, budget range $1,500. Subway $900. Most required credit scores Emily and Bradley didn't have. The doorbell rang 3rd time today. Through the window, Emily stood on my doorstep holding papers. Rental applications, rejected ones probably. She pressed the button repeatedly. Her voice carried through the door. Dad, please, we need to talk just 5 minutes. I returned to my coffee, cold now. Didn't matter. The ringing stopped. Car started. Drove away. My phone buzzed text. We're trying, it's harder than you think. I didn't respond. 3.5 hours later, please, the kids are scared. My finger hovered. Typed. I'm sorry they're scared. Deleted it. Typed, you should have thought of that before. Deleted that too. Sent nothing. 3 weeks passed. Emily and Bradley applied to 18 properties. Credit scores 490 and 520. Disqualified them from most. The rest wanted deposits $6,000 up front. Money they didn't have. They visited repeatedly, increasingly desperate. During one visit, Emily broke down. Not performance this time. Real fear. Dad, just 3 more weeks. We're close to finding something. You've had 3 weeks and 4 years before that. Bradley leaned forward. The deposits are impossible. We need $6,000 up front. That's unfortunate, Dad. This is your grandchildren we're talking about. I paused. I know exactly who we're talking about. Where will you take them? We don't know yet. Maybe a motel temporarily. A motel. She cried harder. What choice do we have? You had choices 4 years ago, 7 months ago, Christmas morning. You made them. But doubt crept in. Brandon's confused face. Cecilia asking why Mommy cries all the time. That evening, standing in my garden, I heard Bradley on his phone window, open voice, carrying, yeah, man, it's a show. No, he's being a total hard ass. I know, right, whatever. Old geezer's 70. How long can he really hold out? 6 years, 11. I stood frozen. Exactly, we just wait. House will be ours. All his crap, everything. Just gotta deal with his tantrum now. He laughed, actually laughed. Nah, Emily's in there crying, playing the kid card. Might buy us time. My phone was already recording. I called Samuel immediately. Schedule a meeting tomorrow, final. March 13th. My living room, golden light through windows, the empty space where the portrait hung, dark rectangle marking its absence. Emily and Bradley sat on the couch. Samuel stood beside me, briefcase open. This was legal proceeding, not family discussion. Let's review the facts, Samuel began. You've lived here 4 years, rent-free. We're family. You sued Mr. Jefferson, claiming mental incompetence. You hired a detective. You broke into his studio. We were desperate. You were greedy. There's a difference. I nodded to Samuel. Show them the recording. Bradley's voice filled the room while Geezer's 70. Wait him out, house will be ours. Emily's face went white. You said that. He took it out of context. What context makes wait for me to die acceptable? Silence, heavy final. I need to clarify something about this house. I pulled out documents. Half of it belongs to Daniel has for a year. What? Samuel produced the deed transfer dated March 2024, 50% ownership to Daniel James Jefferson. He lives in California, he's co-owner, and he's made his position clear. He doesn't want you here. I slid my spreadsheet across the table, 4 years, every expense itemized. Rent equivalent 2,900 monthly times 48 months. Utilities, 450 monthly groceries, 650 medical bills, credit cards, total 100,000. Those were gifts. And you know what you said when I gave you $175,000 painting for Christmas? I leaned forward. Yard sale junk, those were your exact words. Samuel handed them the document, official eviction notice signed by sheriff's deputy. You have 48 hours to vacate. 48 hours, New England law, non-tenant guests, 48 hours notice. We'll fight this. With what lawyer? What money? You're broke. You have no case. Emily looked at me. You're really doing this, putting your grandchildren on the street. My voice came out cold, measured, final. I raised you to value beauty, history, family. I gave you a home when you needed one. I fed your children. I paid your bills. I tried to pass down something meaningful, and you called it junk. Then you hunted for treasures that didn't exist. You tried to have me declared incompetent. You waited for me to die. Every choice was yours. Every consequence is earned. I don't owe you my house. I don't owe you my money. I don't even owe you my forgiveness. What I owe you is honesty. You are no longer welcome in my home. 48 hours. The document shook in Emily's hands. Bradley stood, suddenly knocking the coffee table. This is insane. You can't. But he stopped, looked at my face, at Samuel's briefcase, at the empty wall, sat back down hard. We have nowhere to go, Emily whispered. That's not my problem. She looked up at me. I don't know you anymore. The feeling, I said quietly, is mutual. Samuel checked his watch. 3:50 p.m. March 13th, 2025, 48 hours starts now. They left. I watched from the window. Their car sat in the driveway for 11 minutes, just sitting defeated. Finally drove away. Samuel put a hand on my shoulder. You okay? I didn't answer because I didn't know. March 18th, budget rental truck in my driveway. Bradley carried boxes, clothes, kitchen items, toys, smaller loads than they arrived with. Everything valuable stayed with me. It was always mine. Brandon and Cecilia sat on the porch steps, too quiet for children. Emily directed weakly, that box goes first, no wait. She looked smaller, physically reduced by these weeks. I turned from the window, couldn't watch. Couldn't look away either. My coffee sat cold, third cup today, I hadn't finished. The doorbell rang, odd Samuel. Emily alone, face clean, no makeup, raw from crying young again. Can I come in? Just me 5 minutes. I should say no, open the door wider instead. My study morning light door open, she stood, I sat. I've been trying to figure out what to say, practiced in my head, but everything sounds hollow. I waited, she took a breath. I was a terrible daughter. Everything you said is true. Her voice cracked. I called your gift junk. I sued you. I hunted through your things. I waited for you to die. You didn't. Thaddeus did. Bradley did. You just didn't stop him, same thing, is it? Yes. I'm complicit in everything. I knew what we were doing. I told myself we deserved it because you had money and we didn't. Because life was hard. And you were comfortable because I felt like you owed me something for, she trailed off. For what? I don't know, that's the worst part. She laughed bitterly. You gave me everything. I had no reason, but I did. And I let that poison me. Silence stretched. I became someone I don't recognize, someone who'd hurt her own father for money. Someone who'd lied to her children about why we're moving. She wiped tears. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I just wanted you to know. I see what I did. I see who I became. And I'm sorry. She turned toward the door. Sit down. She hesitated, sat. I don't want your apologies. I want you to understand. I do know, listen. I leaned forward. You saw price tags everywhere on me, on everything I owned. You calculated inheritance while I was still alive. That's not about money. That's about seeing me as an obstacle rather than a person. I know you're right, but you're here acknowledging it. That's more than Bradley would do. He won't apologize ever. He's angry, blames you, blames me, and you, I blame myself. Finally, I took a breath. The debts, the 100,000, consider them canceled. Her head snapped up. What? I don't want repayment. I want you to remember that family supported you when no one else would, Dad. But the house is mine, my space, my dignity, my choice. That boundary stands. I understand. I don't forgive you, not yet. Maybe not ever. But I don't hate you either. You're my daughter. That doesn't change even when everything else does. She broke down completely. Thank you, she gasped. Thank you for not hating me. I didn't move to comfort her. Couldn't, the wounds were too fresh. Where are you moving? Small apartment, South End. Daniel helped find it, paid first month's rent for the kids. He said, Daniel is generous like his father. I didn't respond to that. I need to go, the truck's loaded. At the door, she stopped. Will I ever see you again? I don't know. Time will tell. Can I call, text? You can try. I won't always answer, but you can try. Not forgiveness, not reconciliation, but not total severance either. Space-time possibility, maybe. The truck drove away. I didn't wave. That afternoon, Daniel flew in from San Francisco. We sat on the terrace, sake sunset. You did the right thing, Dad. Did I? Her children are in a 2-bedroom apartment. Her children have a roof because you arranged it through me. I keep seeing her face when she was 9. She's not 9 anymore. She made adult choices, adult consequences. Doesn't make it easier. You taught her a lesson, maybe the most important one. He poured more. Sake, what about your collection, the real one? Bank vault safety deposit box 450. 3 paintings, total value about 1.8 million. They're yours when I die. Dad, I don't want, I know you don't. That's why you're getting them. Emily wanted them, you never asked. What about her? I smiled slightly. She got the most valuable painting of all, a lesson. Priceless, can't be bought or sold. Maybe in 35 years she'll understand its value. 6 months later, September. My life is quieter now, cleaner, organized exactly how I want it. I joined an art appreciation society. Tuesday evenings, Newbury Street Gallery, made 2 friends, both retired collectors who understand art is about beauty, not investment. Morning routine yoga at 7. Coffee at 8. Museum, 4 times weekly. I volunteer at Museum of Fine Arts, Boston. Patricia asks my advice often. I feel useful. Daniel video calls 3 times weekly, brought his family to visit. Wife Yuko, 3 children. They stayed in the guest rooms, redecorated, fresh paint, new memories. The grandchildren called me Grandpa, sounded better than anything. I started painting again, terrible paintings, but mine. I hung them in my studio where no one judged. The postcard arrived mid-September. Dad, I found work, interior designer at small firm, starting over, learning about value versus price. You were right, working on myself. Thank you for not giving up on me by giving up completely. E. I stared at it, got a magnet, hung it on the refrigerator next to it, crayon drawing, age 9, best daddy in crooked letters. I touched both cards, said nothing, but I didn't throw it away either. My life is smaller now, quieter, lonelier, but it's mine that matters. Justice and love don't always coexist. Sometimes you choose one at the cost of the other. I chose justice. Time will tell if it was worth the price. The terrace overlooks Boston at sunset. The mountains turn purple, then gold, then dark. I sit there most evenings now. Sky, silence, peace, not happiness. That'll take time, but peace. As the sun sets over Boston, I reflect on the lessons learned from this painful journey. Greed can tear families apart, but perhaps, with time, understanding can mend some wounds. Emily's postcard reminds me that change is possible, even if forgiveness comes slowly. My days are filled with art, peace, and the quiet joy of a life reclaimed. Yet, I wonder about the paths we choose and the prices we pay. What are your thoughts on this tale of betrayal and redemption? Share your impressions in the comments below, and let's exchange ideas. Feel free to ask questions to spark deeper discussions. Your insights could help others navigate similar family struggles. Interact with the channel by liking this video and subscribing for more stories. To hear the next captivating tale, simply click the box on the left. Thank you for joining me today. Your engagement means the world.